absolutely delirious for all of us right now because today is the first day of the literary week of the Literary Society of Lovely Professional University. Today, we are going to talk about a lot of things like students who stood first, second, and third. We had clearly swept away all the three prizes from our university, lovely professional university, of Swachhta Ambassador. And that was a competition. So students had to write their own poetries. They had to send their own poetries, and those poetries were selected for first three prizes. And that was done by Municipal Corporation Jalandhar. We are very, very proud and very, very privileged and honored to have all those three positions into our university. And today, we are even going to talk about the poem exchange recitation competition. We're going to talk about that later as well, but I'd request the technical team to kindly float a link into the YouTube, Facebook, and Google Meet chat box to all the people and students who want to register into the literary exchange festival. It's actually a poem recitation festival. So there are going to be societal kind of topics on which you have to send your poems on. Your poems can even be on politics, anything regarding to that. I'm going to tell you the rules in a very short period of time. But till then, kindly drop me one of these just like a Kung Fu Ninja and say, Yo, Sahas, we are going to register ourselves onto the link that the technical team has been floating. If you think you have the talent, because we know that we have the people, we know we have the crowd to help you, to engage you, to reach you towards the highest form of expression. Now let me just read some caveats and rules of poem exchange recitation competition, the Poetry Exchange Festival. So students have to submit, and I quote, students have to submit their best self-written poem, 100 to 200 words in English or Hindi, at the email that you will get after a point of time. The submitted poems will be allotted to different participants on the date that will be given to you once again, and prizes will be announced for the best poem and recitation. And further, you are going to get the caveats and the links as well. Trust me, it's going to be very, very delicious because you are going to exchange poems. Perhaps a friend of yours can read a poem of yours, and you can also read his poem as well. It will depend on the judges as they will shuffle completely blindedly, right? So first of all, moving on towards the first performance, I'm going to request Radhika, who gained a position in the Swachhta Ambassador done by Municipal Corporation Jalandhar. So I request Radhika to kindly come forward and to present her poem on My Waste, My Responsibility that she had written and delivered and broadcasted in Swachhta Ambassador. Off to you, Radhika.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for such a warm welcome, Sahas. So, my poetry is based on my waste and my responsibility. So, hope you like it. In this house, we've built of stones and pebbles and little things. Two, and our world expands. Things we outgrow, we leave to chance. The roofs of this house have seen it all. The curtains held, the doors unlocked. What stays inside and out are the same. The dirty musings of a soul gone astray. Toils of mishaps and long forgotten duties, it has all crumpled up like a paper ball, left to catch dirt. On the corner of the street where this house once was. Now it is there, a vision in grey. And there the wasteland grows day by day. You try and pick the yellow from the brown, but the only thing left behind is drenched in tar. Of cigarette butts, yellow papers, and plastic wrappers, the walk to the garden. A bed of losses. Of a styrofoam sea, a grave of roses, the straws to string us by. As the grey rises up, reaches the window of that house, still standing tall. Picket's front floors and greasy front yard. The people, you and I, happy in our bubble. We live in our sterilized world of floors of blue and white. The grey is filtered through our window. Oh no, oh no. Do you see what I see too? 2 plus 2 have raised a mountain. Our house is submerged in an ocean of grey. Oh, what a dismay! Is this our doing? The plastics and the peelings, the waste we do is the waste we become. How to unlearn? How to learn to live in this house we have built of 7.8 billion? We take one step, another, and then two. Pick up our old habits, recycle, then reuse. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Madam Radhika, for such a wonderful performance. I'm pretty sure that the students and all the people who have been listening to your particular poem right now, they're going to take care of their waste, because your waste is not just your responsibility, but it's your duty towards your society. Am I right, Radhika?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wonderful. Radhika, let's just talk for some time, right?
Sure.
Right. You're from which part of India?
I'm from Kolkata, West Bengal.
কলকাতা আমি
Yes.
একটু একটু বাংলা বলছি
That was good. That was really
দেখো
good.
আপনার কলটিকে হোল্ডে রাখা হয়েছে অনুগ্রহ করে লাইনে থাকুন
Seems like you've been talking to some people from Kolkata.
indeed I was actually, but nonetheless, Radhika, you're into which year?
I'm in my second year right now.
You're into your second year right now, and how has your experience been for the
Absolutely
very
marvelous.
first year in lovely professional university?
Yes, absolutely marvelous to say the least. Like I've been exposed to so many different parts of cultural activities, literary activities, and even on professional grounds. I have gained enormous perspectives, things I have done I did not know I could have before, and of course, the presence of such wonderfully talented people does
Right.
to learn.
And did think that this particularly has helped you to become who you are today, or that will help you to become what you will become in your future? Right? Do you think that
Yeah,
this all has shaped you?
absolutely. It has given me a lot of prowess in a way. Like it has unlocked such potentials that I did not know I had. And of course, now I'm much more confident in my speaking, in my writing, and pursuing what I really want to do. So all thanks.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your time, for your poetry, and a very big congratulations to you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, again, once again, kindly drop us one of these. Why aren't you dropping us one of these? Just like a Kung Fu Ninja. Go on your UMS, kindly go and register for the Literary Society as well. See, these people, these students are very, very young, just like I am young. These students are young, they're very, very talented. They came into this university as newbies and freshers. And now they're sweeping away the entire municipal corporation by getting first, second, and the third prize. So when we think we have the people to help you, to poise you to become who you want to become in the highest form of expression, that is called legend, then why not participate in the literary society? Why not participate in the challenges that the life is throwing onto your way? Once again, thank you so very much, Madam Day. You are indeed a very wonderful and an impeccable spokesperson, right? Moving on towards the next performance, but before we move on towards the next performance, I request you all to kindly go and register onto a link for the Poetry Exchange Festival. I've already talked about it. I'm again going to talk about it, that you are going to exchange your poetries. You can just see a lot of poetries, and you can get the perspectives of the other person's poetry as well. Trust me, the prizes are wonderful, but just you have to go and register onto the link. The further details will be seeded and relinquished off to you in a very short period of time. But again, go and register yourself onto the link of the Literary Society on your UMS as well. Moving on towards the next performance of My Waste, My Responsibility, I would request Mr. Ishmael to kindly come forward and to perform his poetry right in front of you people of lovely professional university. Off to you, Ishmael, and a very good luck to you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Sahas, for the introduction. The poem that I wrote for the Swachhata Ambassador competition was on my waste, my responsibility, and it goes like, let's take a pledge and reduce our waste, recycle what can be reformed, and reuse it till the very last form. Let's take a pledge, my responsibility to make my city great. My waste never spread in haste. When I walk a street, I will inhale free air, far from pollution and its clutches that scare. Determination is all we need. A little precaution will be a huge relief. Let's take a pledge and move a step a day. It won't be long till dawn bedazzles your eyes away. The city so clean will play for you, a music so pure with no residue. My waste is my responsibility. Let that be true, not just in a sentence, but in practice too. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was it. I hope you all enjoyed.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Ishmit. First of all, how are you?
I am doing good, Saz. How are you?
I am very, very wonderful. What's your age, Ishmit?
I just turned 19 a few days ago.
19. Wonderful. So happy belated birthday to you on behalf of the entire university.
Thank you so much.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, see young personalities like Mr. Ishmit. You can become like them. You want, if you want to become better like them, better than them, you can become better than them as well. But you have to go and register onto the link again and again and again if you want to do something in your life. Wonderful. Right, Ishmit. So you started off your career with public speaking at what age?
To be honest, I never was into public speaking before I joined the university. When
Mm-hmm.
I was in my college back in Bombay, I was always into event management and stuff like that. But when I entered the university and during my induction, I saw so many people anchoring and doing so good on stage. I was like, why not try this out as well? So I reached out to various organizations in DSA, and then eventually I joined Literary Society, and then here I am.
Right, wonderful. So, do you practice something for your public speaking skills, or it's just the normal flow that you go into?
In the start, I did practice a lot because I had a lot of issues with the flow of language, the intonations, etc. But then off late, I have not been paying a lot of attention to the practice part of it. But yes, I do try to practice often when I can.
Right. And how has that been for you? How has literary society been for you?
Literary Society has actually been quite amazing. I joined Literary Society at the latter half of my first year, but the opportunities that I kept getting, even during such times that as like the pandemic right now, it is actually quite amazing. And I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that I got, and I hope to do better with the coming opportunities as well.
Right. And do you have any plans regarding to your public speaking skills or regarding to your career in public speaking? Do you have any future plans for it?
Honestly, right now I am just going with what comes my way. I don't have any set goal into public speaking per se, since my career path is animation. I've been pursuing animation, so this is just something that I enjoy a lot. And if there is something that turns up as an exciting career opportunity in this field, I'll surely take it up.
Indeed. Thank you so very much, Mr. Schmidt. You are indeed one very impeccable and one of the finest speakers that I've ever seen. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Sas.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, be kind, be humble, treat people with respect, right? Do not forget that because humility literally takes you nowhere, but it gives you a lot of respect. What's wrong with my tongue today? And no, but nevertheless and nonetheless, please do praise all these people. They are not getting extra attendance, they are not getting extra marks, they are not getting extra anything. They're only getting motivated with the motivation that you see to them in the YouTube, Facebook, and Google Meet chat box, just like a Kung Fu Ninja. They have been working day in and day out to make these events only and only possible for you people. So why not do drop a lot of respect for them, right? And now moving on towards the next scintillating and cromulent performance, we have Madam Ojaswini Sharma, who's going to recite a poetry on rape. So I'd request Madam Sharma to kindly come forward and to recite her poetry. Off to you, Ojaswini Sharma.
Thank you so much, Sahas Bhaiya, for the introduction. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Ujaswini Sharma, and I'm going to speak on rape culture. And it is a poem I just wrote yesterday. So, here it goes. It was a bright sunny day. I was all set, going to my college fest. Wearing a kurta, carrying a little black bag, I started walking with excitement in my head. Everything was so bright until I was caught by three men and pulled aside. I screamed, I swear, but not a soul passed there. My dupatta was pulled and thrown in the air, and after that, every moment was just pain and pain. I requested them to leave, I swear, but they didn't hear. I felt unconscious, they left me there, and still no soul passed there. I opened my eyes. I was in the hospital with the oxygen mask and my mother crying sitting aside. I felt my life just ended and thought of nothing that how it could be mended. I was taken to my home where people threw stones and said she is the same girl who slept with 3 men alone. There a woman shouted and said, your kurta was too tight and excited all men. So dress properly, all right? Everything used to be so bright, and now I saw no light. I reached home somehow and was feeling a bit too low. I locked myself in a room, thinking, how do I still bloom? I thought I can't take this because this is not right. So I decided to fight. Packed my bags, took my father's car, went to the police station, which was not too far. All 3 men were behind the bars, and now my story was published in newspapers every hour. It is not just me or you, it is for every girl and women sitting there. Be brave, you can fight, and don't forget to teach your sons and brothers to respect every girl, all right? Thank you, that's it.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. It was indeed very, very wonderful and very, very heartwarming and very, very touching as well, as it is related to a very imperative, perhaps I should say, social issue that we as humans are actually fighting in the 21st century. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for the poetry. Right.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, where are you from?
I am from Himachal Pradesh.
Okay, which part of Himachal are you from?
I am from Chamba, Dhalauzi.
Oh, right, wonderful. And is it cold down there?
No, not so much. It's 19.
19, so it's
It's
fine. I
19
mean,
degrees.
it's not that much for us Pahadis, right? 19
Yeah.
is right. And you're into which year? First year, second year, third year, fourth year?
Second year, second year.
Second year, right. And how has your experience been with literary society?
My experience with literary society has been great. Firstly, I was inconsistent, I would say, but eventually when the lockdown started, I started being consistent as well, and I get opportunities, and like I like speaking, and it is going great, and literary society has helped me a lot.
Right, indeed. And do you think like writing poetries on such social messages does affect a lot of people and it does tell a lot of things about our society as well?
Writing poetry has many visual elements, personifications, and other things, but it affects the people maybe for 1 hour or 2 hour. We can't change perspective of people until they feel it themselves. So it can just be a powerful message, but people have to change themselves. Then only it will work.
Right, right, right. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your time. Thank you so very much
Thank
for your
you.
poetry. I really wish you all the luck, all the best wishes for your future. Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
Madam Ojaswini Sharma. People, it's not just about respecting women, right? Don't just respect women, right? Respect animals, respect plants, respect your parents, respect women, respect men, respect all the people that you meet in the world, right? Again and again, I've been telling a lot of people do respect people. Humility really does not cost anything, but it takes you a lot many places and it really gives you a great niche. I think it makes you a gentleman. I think it makes you a gentlewoman as well. And these people have been preaching and they have been learning humility as well. So kindly do learn something from them. Moving on towards the next performance, the name of the performance is Bezuba Hu Main, Bekhayal Na Samjho. So I'm going to request Miss Aryan to kindly come forward and to recite Bezuba Hu Main, Bekhayal Na Samjho. Off to you, Aryan.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya, and a very good evening to each one of you watching me. So today I'm going to recite the poem "Bezuban hu main, bekhayal na samjho," and this is all about animals. If they get a chance to explain what they think, what they feel, if they get a chance to speak, what would be the narration? This is all about that, and here it goes. बेजुबां हूं मैं बेख्याल न समझो बेदर्दी न दिखाओ हाँ मैं वही छोटा सा मच्छर हूं जो छोटा सा हृदय भी रखता है हाँ मैं वही छोटा सा मच्छर हूं जो छोटा सा हृदय भी रखता है ताली मारना तुम्हारे लिए खेल है ताली मारना तुम्हारे लिए खेल है पर तुम्हारा खेल मेरी मृत्यु का कारण बन सकता है बेजुबान हूं मैं बेख्याल न समझो बेदर्दी न दिखाओ न जाने कितने अंडे दिए मैंने तुम्हें, सोचा तुम्हारा पेट भर जाएगा, सोचा शायद तुम्हारा पेट भर जाएगा, मगर तुम्हारी जीभ पर मेरे बच्चे का खून लगना बाकी था। मुर्गी हूं मैं, थोड़ा तो रुक जाते, मुर्गी हूं मैं, थोड़ा तो रुक जाते, मेरा जीवन अभी बाकी था। बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेख्याल न समझो, बेदर्दी न दिखाओ। मैं वही गौ माता हूँ, मैं वही गौ माता हूँ जिसने ताउम्र अपने बच्चे से ज्यादा दूध तुम्हें पिलाया, जिसने ताउम्र अपने बच्चे से ज्यादा दूध तुम्हें पिलाया। सोचा माँ हूं मैं, ममता तो समझोगे, मगर रो रही थी मैं, मगर रो रही थी मैं, जब बुढ़ापे में चंद रुपयों के लिए तुमने मुझे मरने के लिए बेच दिया। बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेख्याल न समझो, बेदर्दी न दिखाओ। मैं वही बकरी हूं, मैं वही बकरी हूं जिसका धड़ तुम एक झटके में शव से अलग कर देते हो। चुपचाप चुपचाप सहमी खड़ी मृत्यु का इंतजार करती हूँ। अपने लिए उसी अल्लाह से दुआ करती हूँ, अपने लिए उसी अल्लाह से दुआ करती हूँ, शायद तुम्हारी नहीं मेरी दुआ कबूल कर ले वो, शायद तुम्हारी नहीं मेरी दुआ कबूल कर ले वो। बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेख्याल न समझो, बेदर्दी न दिखाओ। मैं वही गली की श्वान हूँ, मैं वही गली की श्वान हूँ जो अपने बच्चे के लिए खाना लेने निकलती है। मुझे खाने की बजाय पत्थर मिलते हैं, मुझे खाने की बजाय पत्थर मिलते हैं। मेरे बच्चे मेरा खून देखकर सहम जाते हैं, मेरे बच्चे मेरा खून देखकर सहम जाते हैं। मगर अफसोस है, वे तुम्हारी तरह अदालत नहीं जा सकते, वो तुम्हारी तरह अदालत नहीं जा सकते। बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेजुबान हूं मैं, बेख्याल न समझो, बेदर्दी न दिखाओ। थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन।
थैंक यू सो वेरी मच सर फॉर दिस वेरी वंडरफुल परफॉर्मेंस।
थैंक यू।
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने कि सब चीज़ों में जान होती है, सब चीज़ों की रिस्पेक्ट हमें करनी चाहिए एंड किसी भी चीज़ को हमें टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड नहीं लेना चाहिए। एंड यू आर वेरी वेरी ट्रू लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन। आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू ऑल टू काइंडली प्लीज ड्रॉप अ lots and lots of appreciation for Mr. R.N. Sachdeva. Thank you so
थैंक यू
very
सो
much, sir. Right.
थैंक
So,
यू।
Mr. Sachdeva, where are you from? आप कहाँ से हैं?
श्री गंगानगर राजस्थान।
राजस्थान, वंडरफुल। इस टाइम वहां पे कैसा टेम्परेचर, गर्म है, ठंड है?
ठंड स्टार्ट हो गई है, इट्स लिटिल बिट कोल्ड आउट देयर।
एंड यू आल्सो इनटू योर सेकंड ईयर, राइट? आप भी सेकंड ईयर में हो?
यस यस यस।
राइट। तो आपका जर्नी कैसा स्टार्ट हुआ था एलपीयू में इन पब्लिक स्पीकिंग?
In public speaking, yes, I enjoyed speaking on stage, but as I went to Kota for last 3 years before joining LPU, so I did not have a chance, and I got cut off from these activities. So
Right.
when I came to LPU, I saw a lot of eminent speakers like Mr. Sahas Ramal and Vishnu Bhaiya and all everyone. So obviously, I got motivated and I started with Literary Society. I joined in. I asked from people how to go to that stage of Shanti Devi Mittal Auditorium. So yes, the
Right.
journey started at Literary Society where Shali ma'am motivated a lot, and I was never a poet. This is all blessings
Oh.
of Vaishali ma'am. She motivated me to write a poetry, and here I am in front of you.
Right, right, right. And do you think that it has certainly helped you in breaking your bubble of not writing poetry, but now you are a very good poet?
Yes, true. Because when the competition, there was some sort of competition from AIU. Just I got a call from Vaishali ma'am that this is a competition and you have to write the poetry.
I
Uh,
remember.
uh, I just wrote it, and unfortunately, it did not get selected. But yes, I got a lot of appreciation. And then there came International Peace Conference, and then I wrote this poetry for a peace conference, and that eventually got selected. And I got a lot of appreciation, and now I am into poetry.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do you particularly have any future plans pertaining to your public speaking skills?
um, Life is a surprise. Let's see where it takes us.
Right, right, right. And thank you so very much. You are indeed a very wonderful poet, a very charming and a very wonderful personality as well. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Sachdeva, ladies and gentlemen, sir is really wonderful and a very elegant speaker, a very loquacious speaker. And if you want to learn all these kinds of words, then I'd request you all to kindly join the Literary Society. please do join the Literary Society if you want to throw and impress your friends with words like floxenos, anihilifilification, or hippopotamus squipidelophobia. Then kindly go and register onto the link of your UMS for Literary Society. I am pretty sure that you're going to meet a lot many people. You are going to talk to me as well. You learn a lot from your seniors, from your mentors, and you are going to be one of the best speakers, right? But you have to work hard for it. Read a lot of books as well. And once again, go and register onto the link that has been floating again and again and again, which I've been talking about from quite a long time, into the YouTube, Facebook, and Google Meet chat box. That is create art, spread art, promote art for the Poetry Exchange Festival. Write your own poetries, go and register on the link and go and win exciting prizes, absolutely delicious prizes. And now moving on towards the next performance. The next performance is by a fresher. So, see, the freshers have been working hard. The freshers have already started working hard. So, why can't you start working hard? So, we have Madam Diksha for speech, which is peace is possible. And I certainly think that indeed peace is possible. So, I'm going to request Madam Diksha to kindly come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please do drop her a lot of appreciation and gratification as she's a fresher. Do motivate her and learn lots and lots of things from her. Off to you, Diksha.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Sahas, for this amazing introduction. I am Diksha Gaur, and I'm going to recite my thoughts on peace is possible. When we wake up in the morning and feel safe and free, that is peace. The absence of fear and tension is peace. And I'm positive that no person in this world can say that he or she does not feel safe and free. It is ironic that the more modern the world is becoming, the more problematic the society is becoming. This has proven that modernism is not sufficient for bringing peace and love in this world. Humanity is at stake. I would like to quote Albert Einstein: peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. Hatred and love are emotions. People learn emotions. If they can learn to hate, they can learn to love, they can learn to understand. They must. There are myriad acts of injustice taking place in this world as we speak, many of which will be never heard or talked about. I would like to quote an example. George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was killed in Minneapolis by cops while being allegedly using a counterfeit bill. Well, this happened on May 25th, 2020, but there are innumerous cases like this that happened before which were never talked about. The killing of George Floyd caused havoc in the world. Protests and rallies by millennials and innumerable people were held on police brutality and racism. I would like to quote Martin Luther King Jr. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We must not separate ourselves from the world. We are a part of the world, and the world is a part of us. Injustice must not be tolerated anywhere. Studies have proven that the people involved in terrorism and militancy are less educated and hailing from a financially poor background. These circumstances make them easy prey for terrorists and violence organizations because it becomes easy to manipulate them towards such inhumane tasks. I would like to quote Malala Yousafzai: if you want to end war, then instead of sending guns, send books. Instead of sending tanks, send pens. Instead of sending soldiers, send teachers. This is indeed very true because education has a prominent role in shaping our mindset. The more educated we are, the more financially stable we become, and the less prone we are to committing in these terroring tasks. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, said Eleanor Roosevelt. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. The how we shape our mindset is how the future is going to turn out. We must use our resources judiciously and believe in truth and righteousness. Believe in truth and righteousness, and you can achieve whatever you want in your life. There are certain things that we as a person can do to contribute in bringing peace in the world. To avoid wars in a particular country or globally, we must not support politicians and activists who promote or provoke violence. Respect living creatures. We must respect everyone instead of their race, caste, gender, or any difference. Human virtues also play a great role in bringing peace. Learn to forgive people, accept the differences, and rise above the petty standards of discrimination. I would like to conclude by quoting Edith Wharton. There are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or to be the mirror reflecting it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for this very wonderful speech and very elegant speech, perhaps I should say. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people must be feeling very, very responsible after the speech. And how are you?
I am very well. How are you?
I am indeed very wonderful, ma'am. After hearing your speech, I am very, very wonderful. Right. And how did you get inclined towards literary society and public speaking? Nevertheless, you are a fresh.
Yeah, well, you see, uh, when I joined the induction, the freshman induction, I saw a numerous amount of hosts and anchors who were hosting, and I saw them, and I was like, how are they speaking so well in public? I mean, I can't even speak what I want in my house. And also, this lockdown triggered me to, experiment with my abilities and work towards making myself a better person. And what can be better than public speaking? We can voice our opinions. So that is why I was inclined towards public speaking.
Indeed, ma'am, indeed. And how has literary society of my university treated you till now?
Well, I am very happy that I have such good seniors and teachers to guide me. And Vaishali ma'am has been a great support. She offered me to perform at a literary showcase. And before this one as well, I have performed in two or three showcases, and I'm so glad I got this opportunity.
Indeed, ma'am. And are you ready to work hard towards getting onto the stage of Shanti Devi Mittal Auditorium where thousands and thousands of people are watching you?
Yes, I am ready to work hard, and I am sure I will do great.
All right. If you're sure that you're going to do great, then we are sure that you are going to do great. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your time, for this wonderful speech on peace is possible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was indeed one of the finest speeches I've ever heard in my life. I think that peace is possible. I think that there's a difference between being educated and being literate. I tell this to a lot of people a lot many times that see, literacy is a good thing, right? You're literate, you have a graduation degree or probably a matric degree or probably anything like that post graduation degree that will give you a good house or a good financial bank account or a good car. But what actually matters, what actually is paramount is education. And I think education comes through books. It comes through meeting people. It comes through being a gentleman or a gentlewoman. It comes through knowing people and looking at their perspective and trying to understand their perspective as well, right? So moving on towards the next performance, ladies and gentlemen. But before moving on towards the next performance, I request you all to kindly drop one of these for Diksha for being such a wonderful fresher, for being such an enthusiastic fresher, for participating in such wonderful competitions. If she can participate, if I can participate, if all the people can participate, then I think you can also participate in these types of competitions. And public speaking is indeed a very great thing. Moving on towards the next performance, I request Priya to kindly come forward and to recite her poem on depleting environment, right? So off to you, Priya, in three, two, and one. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Priya, right in front of you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amol, for the lovely introduction. But I will not be reciting about depleting environment because my friends Ishmit and Radhika have already given you such beautiful poems. I will be talking about a rather sensitive topic that we have all experienced growing up, that we stop asking questions at a certain amount of time. So, this is about all you people who have been questioning yourself whether or not to ask a question to anybody around you. Here goes. We don't ask questions not because they're difficult to ask, but because the answers are difficult to swallow. We get choked on the answers we were expecting and the ones that we receive. So we cough hard to throw up on them. Instead, we end up gulping both of them in our potbelly of overthinking, and then find trouble looking for the right amount of peace to fit around it. We don't ask questions because we are afraid of being judged for not knowing the answers to them, thereby never seeking the one that we set out to look for. We don't ask questions because answers are like Google Maps. They direct you to a place you've never been before or to the town you fled from. To avoid the inconvenience of settling in a new place or having the courage to rip the band aids of the last time. We simply avoid question answer sessions and slurp chai instead of occasionally miscalculating its temperature and burning our tongue. We ask only those questions we know the answers of, but just need a confirmation for. It's like thinking you've forgotten the lyrics of your favorite old song, but as soon as the melody hits your ears, nostalgia plays in the background and you become the 11-year-old again. Shouting the lyrics, banging your head to the beats. You might stumble or mess up a little, but you realize that the chorus was living for free in the back of your mind and didn't even have to pay the rent for it. When I finally find the courage to ask a question with nothing to lose, I ask you one question weighing on my mind to set myself free. Hey, I have a question. I stop, searching for the right words, but I don't wait for the answer as you turn up your back on me. Thank you, Sahas.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your particular input. It was really very heartwarming and really very scintillating and prominent as well. And a big congratulations to you for this particular input of yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ramal. It was a pleasure.
Indeed, ma'am. So you are in your second year, right? If I'm not wrong.
Of
Right.
course.
Wonderful. And how did your journey start in public speaking? Was it before our university happened to you? Was it an epiphany? Or was it before your schooling? I mean, before you were into your college, into your school, you had an inclination towards public speaking. How was it?
Well, I have always been a public speaker since childhood, but coming to LPU has given a broad perspective to me. Watching eminent speakers like you, Mr. Shanmugh, and Mr. Vishnu, I've got to learn that there's a circle beyond what I've grown up with. So that inspired me a lot.
Indeed, ma'am. Thank you so very much, ma'am. And do you write poetry as well, or this was just like one phase of it?
Well, I started writing just a few weeks ago, thanks to the lockdown. I'm not very good at it, but I'm picking up.
Right. And how have you been improving your public speaking skills?
I've been watching a lot of eminent speakers, for example, Shashi Tharoor, as you inspire, and of course, Indira Gandhi, and of course, all the eminent speakers of Lovely Profession University have always been inspiring. Through that, I'm learning.
Right. And I really wish you all the luck. I really wish you all the blessings and a very bright and a fruitful career ahead. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
All right. And before we move on towards the next performance, next public speaking performance, I request you all to kindly drop me one of these, just like Kung Fu Ninja, because this session is absolutely delirious. This caravan is going serious, and we all are very, very ecstatic right now because you are going to register onto the link again and again. I have been telling you go and participate in that poetry exchange competition. Why aren't you participating? I'm folding my hands and my elbows as well for you all to go and register on link just like Kung Fu Ninja, and I'm pretty sure that some of you are going to win some particular wonderful prizes. And do go and register onto a literary link as well for the Literary Society if you want to hone up your public speaking skills. Again, just like Kung Fu Ninja. Moving on towards the next performance for the cultural showcase of Literary Society, I would request Mr. Shanmukh, who is a very dear friend of mine, a very wonderful speaker, a very heartwarming personality, and a very charming personality as well, to kindly come forward and to participate in the panel discussion and to moderate the panel discussion as well on freedom of press in India, ethical values, standards, and responsibility of media. So off to you, Mr. Shanmukh, and please take care of the
Thank you
session.
so much. Thank you so much, Sahas, for such a lovely introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome each one of you once again to this one session. And now we, as Sahas said, we are going to have a panel discussion. So before moving further, I would like to give few protocols, few guidelines, which is pretty important for all the speakers out here to follow. So number one, please make sure that you are speaking one at a time. Be additive, and please make sure that you are having certain time limit, like speak for 2 to 3 minutes. And the most important protocol: generate light but not heat. With that, I am very clear with all the instructions, and I would like to repeat the topic. The topic is freedom of press in India, ethical values, standards, and responsibilities of media in our country. So with this, I would like to start the panel discussion and would like to call Mr. Aryan to start with his word. So Mr. Aryan, can we have you on the screen, please? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Shanvia, for introducing the topic and talking about the topic, particularly about freedom of media in India. What I feel, according to me, to some extent, yes, they have freedom, but whenever government is involved in a particular topic or case, in that case, I don't feel that they have freedom.
Okay, I guess we just faced a bit of technical glitch from Mr. Aryan. We'll be taking his points shortly. But before that, I would like to call Mr. Ishmit. Can we have your view as well? Can we have your... Yes, over to you, Ishmit.
Thank you so much, Shan. And when we talk about freedom of press in India, as Aryan too was saying, that when it comes to government-related issues, it is something that we do not observe, because if we look at news anchors from over the seas, if we even talk about Trevor Noah and his show that comes on Comedy Central, the daily show with Trevor Noah, he talks a lot about the president of US. And just imagine if the same case happens in India, if the news anchors in India start talking about the president of India or the prime minister or any parliament member for that matter, it would be a huge problem for that news anchor to even live peacefully without getting trolled and attacked by people from all around. So I believe, yes, the media in India does have a freedom of speech, but it is quite limited and quite monitored. And I feel that should not be the case when it comes to media, because they should have complete access to, you know, the entire audience and what they want to say, what they want to put forward, and stand for what's right, irrespective of the position that certain people hold. That's all from my
Well,
side.
definitely, Ishmit, that was a valid point. So we'll be hearing it from you once again at the end about your conclusion. Now, I would like to request Priya to kindly come forward and give your point of view on the topic. Over to you, Priya.
Thank you so much, Shanmugh. I'd rather say that our social media influences us in such a way that media these days has become um, more about political issues than about the influential news that we want. It's been guiding youth in such a way that we've stopped looking at the news that matters and we started looking at news that is now of no use to us.
We have been going through such a phase that we, the youngsters of India, have stopped focusing on the development of our country because India, being a democratic republic, gives the media access to anything and everything that they would like. But media channels started focusing more on TRP ratings rather than on the news that they are supposed to deliver to us. It's more about the amount of people watching the news rather than the amount of proper news being delivered. I think that's the more an accurate point, accurate problem that India is facing right now.
Definitely, well said, Priya. Well said. I think it's all the same coin, but with two different sides. As we all know, every coin has two sides. I think it's the responsibility of media to ensure that which side is it actually working on. Is it the positive one or the negative one? Because ultimately, it's the people who are getting affected. So let's hear it from Radhika. Radhika, I would like to request you to give your opinion as well. Over to you, Radhika.
Certainly, I do hold a lot of opinions on this topic. First and foremost, we have to realize one thing. Media trends in India is actually showing completely opposite trends as opposed to the Western media culture and the economic standards over there. In the Western culture, the media ethics and it's evolving, but the TRP ratings or maybe even the viewership, they are declining. Whereas in India, it is growing phenomenally. And with this growth, there comes another underlining effect, that is the race for TRP and the maximum revenue support system. So that's the problem. As much as the media is developing, the objectivity and the credibility of media is also depleting at a massive rate because they relate to cross media ownership. And the phenomenon of paid news, that is very much, regardless of what we believe or not, it is there. It is very much pre existing. And media ethics and the need for effective and viable self regulatory mechanisms, all of these are very essential part of media credibility and ethics. Whether it is just journalism on the field, whether it's press writing, English newspapers, digital media, or even social media agendas that are being fulfilled, and sometimes, most of the time rather, it's biased. But the highlight point of this is the failing ethics and the way we just accept it. We would rather believe what we see on the mainstream media without ever questioning it, as opposed to what we see in a different independent media house, where they're actually giving the proper news without any without any media bias or any political bias next to it. Private treaties in the news business, which are blatant blackmail, basically, a widening gap in the legal and understanding of the revenue system too. This legal regulatory framework, and finally, the industry's very flawed arrangements of measuring the audience and readership. These are some of the few things that needs development in a major way. Otherwise, we will always be stuck in the clutches of depleting media credibility and a growing tendency of media biasness and fake news.
Well said, Radhika. Very well said. It's actually the responsibility of the media to ensure that they are accountable for whatever they're putting on the screen, because their one statement is really going to influence a lot of people. It really matters. And in last few, like situations, we have seen how media has really played a vital role in, breaking certain factors of the society. Thank you so much for certain points. We'll be back to you shortly. Now, I would like to request Mr. Aryan to come back on the screen and start his like to give his opinion as well. We just missed him back then. So
I'm
Aryan, if you're
really,
here,
yeah, I am really sorry for
yes.
that network glitch. Yeah, I was talking about two aspects when I talk about freedom of media in India, and I would be talking about facts and figures. Recently, we had seen two events. The first was a suicide or murder case of a particular Bollywood celebrity. In that case, the CBI is doing its work, the court is doing its work, but we saw some sort of media channels who just confirmed the facts without checking the facts.
I guess we are still having a bit of technical glitch because I'm not able to hear Mr. Aryan, but I'm very sure that he'll be back shortly. So Aryan, it's a humble request for you to kindly make sure that your connection is good but we'll be actually waiting for your connectivity connection as well. But before that, let's move forward. I would like to request Diksha to kindly come forward and give your point, her opinion. Diksha, can we have your points as well?
Yes, I believe that freedom of press is very important because they are the people who are responsible for broadcasting something happening in a part of a country to the whole world. They have the responsibility of, the communicating with the people. So freedom of press is important, keeping in mind that the officials and the executives, they follow the ethical values and they acknowledge the responsibility that the nation has given to them. As Mahatma Gandhi said that the role of judiciary should be service. So they must act accordingly, because sometimes what happens is that they focus on some just out of the box issues and they don't focus on the elephant in the room. So that has happened in a lot of cases. So I think keeping that in mind, the press should have freedom in our country.
Definitely, definitely, Ms. Diksha. I think the press indeed should have freedom because they have really played, a very different role in certain cases where they've actually busted who are the culprits with their personal investigation. Thank you so much, Diksha, for adding up your points. Aryan, can we have your points, please? Mr. Aryan, if in case you're here, I request you to kindly come forward and give your points. Okay, I guess Mr. Aryan is still having the technical glitch, and I would like to now request Ojeshwini to kindly come forward and give her point of view on the topic. Ojeshwini, can we have you
Yes,
here?
definitely. So freedom is important, but so is responsibility. In a country like India, the media have a responsibility to fight backward ideas such as casteism and communalism, and help people fight poverty and some other social evils. So media plays an important role, but the main point here is the the freedom to press has been considered under freedom to speech, but there is a point that media should respect privacy. Sometimes it bleaches privacy, and the media bleaches privacy, and that has been a bad point recently. And more or less the media channels are focusing more on TRP. Like recently there was a case, a media channel paid to increase its TRP. So that is really a bad point. And more than enlightening people, we have a daily 8 o'clock debate on politicians. So there are many issues we need to focus on, but we are not focusing on them. There are many good points of media, but yeah, there are many bad points and it's degrading its quality. So we can focus on good points, and that is all I want to say.
Definitely, Ojeshwini, definitely. Thank you so much for adding up your points. We'll be definitely getting back to you for the conclusion. So, Aryan, now I request you to kindly continue with your words. I guess we faced a bit of technical glitches from your end, but it's absolutely fine. So, Aryan, if you're listening this, I request you to kindly come forward and give your point of view on the topic, where we are actually focusing on the topic. Well, I guess Mr. Aryan is still having the technical glitch. So now, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to put forward one question to each one of you, all the eminent panel members who are here, that what should be the responsibility of the media right now at this scenario? What should be they doing ethically or professionally to enhance that they are actually influencing and uplifting the society in a positive way? I request each one of you to kindly give your point of view and conclude yourself as well. So first, I would like to call Ishmit on screen. Ishmit, can we have your opinion on the question which I just asked? Over to you, Ishmit.
Thank you so much, Shan. There was some technical glitch, I believe, from your end. I could not hear you quite well. Is there a chance you could repeat the question?
Yes, I said right now in the present scenario, what are the journalism standards? We all are talking about what kind of responsibility, what kind of molding the media is needed to make sure that it actually works in a positive way and it actually uplifts the society, because media is having the responsibility to make sure that everything goes well in order. But yet we are seeing a lot of cases where the ethical value, the standards of journalism and media is degraded day by day. So the question is very simple. What, according to you, do you feel that the media should be doing right now? All the or should be there certain changes on the standards or ethical values of journalism?
Well, Shan, if you ask me, the very first thing that media needs to do is to stop the battle of TRPs that they have with all the other channels, because in the fight of TRPs, they are forgetting that their prime motive was to serve the nation with the best possible news and, to make the country aware of what's happening. But rather, they have been getting stuck so much with the TRPs and all of these things that they are forgetting that the core concept of having media was to serve the truth. So I believe they really need to introspect within and realize that it's not a game of TRPs, but the game of truth, and how well they are making the world aware about what's happening in their very own country. And secondly, I feel that the media should respect privacy of certain people and should not bombard them with mics into their rushing right into their faces and stuff like that. Instead, have a very polite approach towards people, and if not, the media always has ways to approach people legally or through a notice or anything like that. But randomly popping up somewhere and shoving mics into their faces, it's something that is very derogatory and not something that looks quite pleasant on the television as well. So I believe that is what the Indian media should look forward to in terms of changing and molding their ways.
Definitely, Schmidt. Very well said. I think media is having the freedom to definitely discover the facts and figures, but also it should ensure that it actually respects the privacy of every individual who they are covering to. Thank you so much, Ishmit, for such wonderful points. Now, I would like to ask Ms. Radhika the question which just Ishmit, the concept that Ishmit was speaking about. The whole game is actually about TRP. So, Radhika, as you are a student of journalism, do you think is
Yes.
it possible to not to go and play this TRP game? Is it possible for any media channel to work on ethics, work on standards, work on true essence of journalism, but not focusing on TRP? What's your take on this?
See, we need to understand a very important caveat that Indian media is not very monolithic. It has many faces. It has exemplary, good, bad, and ugly, of course. And I am, of course, acutely aware of the nearly 100,000 and more professionals working in this field of journalism, of which a substantial number of individuals and institutions hold the core values of the cardinal principles of journalism, which is, of course, very much far away from this entire fiasco of paid news. But the exceptions, even though it is a minority, it is a number sufficient to color the popular perception and to undermine the public trust. And when that happens, media urgently need to look inward and reflect upon the need to rekindle commitment to ethics and journalism in public interest. And when it comes to specifically talking about the paid news fiasco, again, as I said earlier in my previous speech, we need to understand one thing that media in India is not entirely controlled by one organization. It is rather overseen by the government. So if the government do not step in to promote the ethical operation of the entire industry as a whole without subverting the topic towards their bias and making it just another puppet of their hands. Media cannot really do much more than just play the role, play the field, and become the tiger left freely in the woods. But in order to maintain the integrity of the entire situation, of even the independent media news channels which are there, we see them on our news feed, on social media, we see them on YouTube channels as well. They do not have a mainstream media like TV channels per se. So, and hence they are not running up to TRP. It's just the old school, old fashioned ways of doing it. And they are also getting caught. We do read the headlines every day, right? We do understand what is happening. They are getting caught. So, what is happening at the end of the day? Indian media's name is getting bad when we talk about global media. So it is all just comes down to one single thing. As a journalist, as a journalism student, I'm speaking, we are taught the core values of journalism, and we are also taught that these do not apply anymore because people are just playing in the field to get where they want to and be the fastest one to get there. But we always need to understand there is no shortcut. There is no shortcut to success, there is no fastest track. We need to play understandingly and deliver the situations carefully. And before blaming it all on the moguls of media, we need to understand that they are just nobody but a puppet in the government's hand. After all, the entire power lies in the government's hand, whether to judge them or to uplift them. That's it.
Definitely. Very well said, Radhika. Very well said. I think if the media or the journalism is, the concept of journalism is going to work on this way, I'm very sure that we are going to have a very transparent system, because somewhere or other, just because of this glitches or, corrupt practices, the transparency of the country is at stake, and people are not able to see what it is, what actually the truth is. The thing is, the media system is actually playing a very vital role to ensure that the whole country is working on one motto. But then again, it's also, there are certain people who we all know that are creating a bit of chaos by degrading the standards of media just for the self interest and for gaining TRP, which is apparently actually degrading the name of the whole system. I truly
Yes.
believe what you said is absolutely right. Thank you so much, Radhika, for such wonderful perception and such wonderful words.
Thank you, Shyam.
Now, I would like to ask Mr. Aryan, if in case he's here, to kindly speak up on the topic and also to conclude his words. I hope, Aryan, now the technical glitch is gone, and over to you. Can we have your views, please?
Yes, Bhaiya, same. I am hoping that the technical glitch has gone, and I hope that this will not occur again. Yes,
Yes.
I left somewhere about, I was talking about two incidences where, in first incident, media has been granted freedom that is not required. Like if we talk about recent cases, the media accused people before the judiciary and CBI. The overall that I would say that it was being investigated. But before the overall investigation, if media is being, if media will play the role of judiciary, then this is not exactly freedom that we talk about in a democracy. So first of all, they should be clearly judicially, if there is a particular accused, then media can say the particular word ROP, because it is degrading the fame of a particular ex personality, even if he or she is not responsible for that crime. And talking about the second case, there was a recent popular case where media was not allowed to, to enter the area uh, approximately after up to after 48 hours, when it got viral on social media. So there was no freedom that was required. So in India, if I talk about freedom, we cannot particularly define it. We see new incidences daily, and yes, where there is a particular role of government, media gets some freedom, and it completely, I think so, depends on government, that in a particular case, media is getting freedom or not. Yes, that's it.
Definitely, Aryan, very well said. I think it's all about the facts and figures that they're presenting. And the thing is, media is definitely a very major factor of the society, but it is not having the right to declare anything unless until the courts are going to declare. So it's not having the right to just to corrupt anyone's brain with their personal ideology or mindset. They are definitely playing the role of a communicator, of giving and receiving the kind of news articles and delivering it loud with all the dignity to all the people. But I feel that it is not actually in terms of media or journalism to make sure that they are declaring anyone as culprit unless until the judiciary declares them so. Thank you so much, Aryan, for giving your valuable words. And now I would like to ask Ms. Priya the same question. What, according to you, Ms. Priya, do you think should be the new media system with your the media's the standard levels are falling down? What's your take on this, and how would you like to conclude the topic?
Well, Shan, as Radhika has already stated, that government controls the media. Also, if the number of media channels being projected are brought down to a certain limit, there will not be a competition for TRP rates in the first place.
So that way, the public can get the right and accurate information that the media hopes to give us. But in some way, they are fighting with each other in such a manner that they have lost the main cause that they have started fighting for. So the media has to make sure the content that they are delivering does not defame or does not point at somebody in such a way that it is personal harassment. It rather has to be professional and put to a bound where the privacies are not attacked. And I think media of our country is at a better place compared to any other country in the world. And if we keep developing, I think India will be one of the biggest media places in the entire world. I conclude,
Well
sir.
said, Priya. Yeah,
Uh,
well said. Very well said, Priya. Yes, Priya?
it's Radhika
Yes.
here.
Okay.
Sorry for
Yes,
interrupting.
Radhika.
I'd like to
Yes.
add some points about what my friend.
Definitely.
Okay, so on the Global Press Freedom Index, India stands on 142nd out of 180 countries, which is not a good ranking at all. We perceive media from our privileges in society where we are standing. As soon as media starts harpooning in our neighborhood, in our society, in our social classes, we will really understand how deeply flawed Indian media is. But in order to do so, we also need to assess the situation from both the sides. That whether media is playing the level field or whether media is just playing into the biased hands of the government. Because both are very much viable and present in here. There is only one way out of this, not by decreasing the number of channels or not by decreasing the number of newspapers or media outlets, but by raising awareness. But by it's just like when Facebook came around, the first phase of Facebook in India, when we were growing up, we were told not to give our personal information on Facebook, right? Because of security reasons, because our personal information can be stored away and be used against us. Similarly, we need to understand how to conceive media and the information that is put into our brain. If we just sit there, just like not talking, just like a dumb duckling in front of the TV screen and believe everything that is spewed onto our brains, we will never really differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. After all, it comes down to as public awareness, I'm saying, not from the media's point of view. In public interest, we should be a very aware citizen. A very aware citizen not only of India but of the world. Because citizen journalism is also an extremely important tool that is very much present everywhere we see, from Twitter, Facebook, or WhatsApp, even anything. We need to understand the information that we are being fed and assess it accordingly from the sources that are being presented. Because after
That
all,
is
internet
true.
is free.
That is true, Radhika. After all, at the end of the day, Shan, it comes down to people. The more people watch, the more news comes to the media. And the
Yeah,
more people want trash news, the more trash news the media will deliver. So
exactly
at the end
so.
of the day, as long as people tend to focus on the main points, media will also tend to focus on the main points.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you so much, Radhika, for adding up and giving such wonderful conclusion. Now, I would like to ask Ms. Diksha the same question. So, Diksha, how would you like to conclude the topic? What's your take on this, and how do you think the media should be working in the upcoming days? Can we have your
Uh,
views, please?
Yes, I agree with what Priyadarshini said about reducing the number of news channels to reduce competition. Also, I believe that if the media understands its responsibility of being the medium through we understand the news and the circumstances are happening in the country, the media should understand that what we see and hear has a huge impact on our opinion and our understanding, which in turn have an effect on our actions. So what we hear in the media, what we see in the news, creates our thoughts and opinions about certain things. So the press acts as a fourth pillar of a democracy, and India being the largest democracy in the world, we expect more from the press. So here's to hoping for a better future for Indian press in the coming years.
Definitely, Diksha, very well said. I would also like to ask Ojeshwini her point of view. Ojeshwini, would you like to conclude? What's your take on this, and what, according to you, do you feel that the media should be working, like on which terms and on which social or ethical standards should media should be focusing on. Over to you, Ojashwini.
Adding to everyone's point, like everybody said that TRP should be less focused. TRP should be less focused. Definitely, we should stop running the race of TRPs, giving money to increase the TRPs, showing fake news and doing other things to increase TRP, and focusing less on important topics. So definitely, this race of TRP should end. And secondly, media should be less biased. If we know, as we know, half knowledge is very dangerous. We should always know the both sides of the coin. If we know only one side, we are judging people on only one basis, and people get depressed after seeing such news who are being focused on. So media could work on that, and bleaching people's privacy should be reduced. There is freedom provided to media, but freedom comes with a lot of responsibilities that should be followed. And lastly, I would like to say, like the army is for people, the government is for people, media should also be for people. That is it. Thank you.
Definitely, Ojashwini, very well said. Thank you so much for adding up. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end, we just got to come to a common consensus, a conclusion that in any country, in any democracy, media plays as its backbone, and a good, transparent, responsible media really impacts the whole nation. As summing up all the points of all the panel members, I would like to give one ultimate conclusion that it is our responsibility as well to make sure that what we actually want to hear. Do we want to hear something spicy, or do we want to hear something, facts and figures, or something that is actually important? So it also a responsibility of all the individuals of this country to ensure that we actually want transparency. And talking about journalism standards and media, I truly feel that it's the responsibility of the media department to work on one thing, that is the ultimate truth. TRP is definitely a factor for them, but please, it is also a fact that because of this one factor, there is a lot of chaos in the society. With that conclusion, I would like to say one word, that media is definitely going to create a very, very, very vital role in the upcoming days. And with this, I would like to conclude this panel discussion. And before winding up, I would like to thank each one of you, all the panel members who have participated actively today and have given their opinion. I would also like to take this one moment to thank Mr. Sahas Ramal, who hosted the show in the beginning. I would like to thank Ms. Vishali Kalra from Literary Society from Department of Cultural Affairs. I would also like to thank Mr. Balpreet Singh sir, Head Department of Cultural Affairs of Division of Student Welfare, and I would also like to thank Dr. Saurabh Lakhanpal sir, Head Division of Student Welfare, for organizing this great and being a driving force of all of us. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us. With this, I would like to wind up the session, but would like to give one ultimate message, that it's our responsibility to take care of every individual around us. We are still in the middle of the pandemic, and we have to make sure that we help everyone who are in need. Please make sure you do not come out of the house, and you take all the precautions. And I would also like to thank Himanshu sir for his contribution for organizing this one event with his technical help. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a great day. My name is Shan. Stay tuned with us. We'll be back shortly with many more such discussions, debates, and such great events. My name is Shan, and I'm officially signing off the event. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.